can do within your business. Everything that I'm teaching you personally, you could do in your business and vice versa. So you need to make your to-do list. Before you get to your goal, you need to do what? Put it in the chat. I want to see you all put it in the chat. Before you can get to your goal, you must do what? Assess, assign, align. Okay? Assess what you want in your life. See what's workable. See what's non-workable. Get rid of the non-workable, expand on the workable. So simple. It's hard sometimes because certain friends and certain what we call attachments are tied to these things. We need to give up the idea of attachment. See, a lot of us, we think we want love, and I'm gonna call out the women right now because a lot of you been trained this way, and there's no disrespect, but a lot of women say they want love, but they just want the love story. You just want the love story. This is why when the guy doesn't fit the character that you thought of in your mind, you X him out the picture, and now you don't want to speak to him. You don't want to speak to him because they don't fit the picture anymore. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. Did I hurt somebody's feelings on that? On being honest? Uh-oh. Because you've been trained to keep a love story. That's why when you were growing up, you watched Disney movies. So you must break the paradigm of your assignment. Your assignment is not to get married. Most people say that's their goal. My goal is to get married, so they don't care who they get married to. They just want to be married. I want to be a wife. Well, before you can be a wife, you have to first be the wife. Okay? Before you get the actual ring on your finger, you have to become the wife. Some people might say, well, I'm not doing that because he's not my husband. How else do you want him to become your husband? See, so let's just understand this. Before we move forward, we must break the paradigm. In order for you to have a breakthrough, you must break the paradigm. The paradigm is your belief system. Whatever you currently believe, you must dismantle. Because your belief system is creating your results. Why? Think about it. Your language, right? Your whatever you believe in, your language that you believe creates these thoughts. These thoughts produce that manifestation of the belief, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't. Either way you take an action, the action produces results. You must break the paradigm or you're going to keep going through this cycle. So you must assess your beliefs. If you are not assessing your beliefs, you could be living a lie. You see, be living, be live, believe. You could be living a lie. So some of us are living lives and wonder why we're not getting the results we want because of what we believe in. So if you are believing or be lying, be living in a certain paradigm, you're getting goals or you're getting manifestations that you might not necessarily want. You must break the lie identity because attached to the belief is what we call a lie identity. Okay. What have you been told that you now subconsciously believe? You must break the identity. You must break the identity. I'm telling you right now. I know some of you are thinking he's just sounding like a rapper or something up here. He just playing with the words. It sound good, but well, if you actually listen to what I'm saying, a lot of you believe in stuff that's lies and you don't even know it's a lie. Watch this. Watch y'all get mad at me right now. Is the earth flat? Let me know in the chat. Watch all of y'all defend it and pretend you don't even know what you're talking about. Watch, look, watch. I'm not even gonna go there. All I'm gonna do is say, go outside, look at the ground. All I'm gonna do is say, go in the plane, look out in the sky. That's all I'm gonna say. But I want you to understand how much you will argue about something you don't even know exists. No, don't let me talk about Jesus Christ. That now y'all will hang up off the Zoom now if I talk about Jesus Christ because you don't even know if Jesus Christ existed and you're arguing for something you don't even know. So don't get me started. Don't tell me what you think you're right about this because you don't know. The truth is you don't know. The truth is you don't know. Let's call a spade a spade. The truth is you don't know. You are walking on faith. It's something you believe. I'm telling you that what you believe in is creating your results, ladies and gentlemen. Because I know y'all gonna fight me on this. No, God, man, I'm not saying that there isn't a supreme being that created all of us because there is. I'm not saying you don't have divine energy in you because you do. What I'm saying is that you've been brainwashed, and it's now time for you to understand. It's time to have a dirty mind now. I can't be getting brainwashed from everybody else. I need to get it from the mud. I need to know the roots. I need to go back in time. So the thing you need to do is change your beliefs. So when we talk about starting, right? The starting point, this is where we need to renovate. Change your beliefs. I'm streaming on YouTube right now. They're gonna cut me off. They're gonna say, I'm sorry, something happened with your stream. Since I start talking about God, talk about Jesus Christ. So change your beliefs. You need to change the way you think, ladies and gentlemen. That's the number one thing. Change the way you think. Change the way you think. Ronnie, you need to check and make sure you know what I'm saying. Because if you believe in God, right, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying right now. That's crazy for what you're saying. Listen to what I'm saying, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. But you just did exactly what I'm talking about. Defending something you don't even understand what is there. You don't know. You don't know. I didn't say anything negative about God. I said you don't know what's true. You get what I'm saying? So you don't know. You were not there. Only way you know if you were there, you weren't there. You're being told something and you believe what you're being told. That's what a belief is. You be living in that belief, and that's fine. So the next step, right? When you renovate, as we told y'all before, the renovation part, right, is you changing the way you operate. You're changing the way you operate. Right? You're changing the way you believe so that way you can create what you want in your life. Okay? So innovation part is this operation. So when you called up those people and you knew that you weren't wrong, you knew it, right? You knew you weren't wrong, right? You knew you weren't wrong, right? You said, you know what? Uh, but I'm gonna call them anyway, and I'm gonna make sure I get complete with them. What happened? There was something that unexpectedly happened to you, right? There was something that unexpectedly happened that you didn't know. You had no clue of what was going to happen. That was you changing the way that you operate. So now, subconsciously, this is you moving closer to your success goals. Okay. The next thing you want to do is collaborate. This is where you understand the power of team. So let me just show you how we were meant to be in groups. Let me just show you how we were meant to be in groups. This is the idea. God created man, created a woman. When a man and a woman has a child, the child comes out and the child now has what? Put the answer in the chat. The child now has what? A group. Some people call it a family, but they have a group. So by default, you were created as a group. And even by, if you go back, if you believe in the Bible, you go back and you look at these situations. Just from what I just said, the renovation, if you come in as one person, right? You're one person. You now need to change the way you operate in order to be with another person. So if you're finding a significant other, you renovate who you are, you grow up a little bit, you find out what you like, find out what you don't like, and now you start to move in with someone. Or you move, when you say move in, doesn't necessarily mean household, but it means that you move into one, a union. You become one. This is why when you look at the sexual organs, a man and a woman coming together, you innovate, you change the way you operate, you become one, you change the form. Okay? You change the form of who you become. All right? You change the form of who you become. And then when you collaborate, you have a baby, you produce someone else, right? Uh, you produce someone else. And now, guess what? You collaborated. Either way, I'm showing you this method has been given throughout the Bible, throughout the Quran, throughout time, throughout history. Period. This is not something I'm just making up. I'm showing you this is the way to get to certain goals. Now, let's do it this way where I'll show you this. In your reality, right? And Myron Golden, one of my mentors, one of my coaches, he taught me this. Some of y'all may know this. I'm calling this the RIC impact. The highest level of value is your imagination. The highest level of imagination, right? Is imagination. Somebody put in the chat imagination. This is the place where the person that creates the idea, this person gets to spin. Let me add another color real quick. This person gets to spend 80% of their time enjoying themselves and only 20% of time working. How many of us like that? How many of us want that? You want something like that where you're spending 80% of your time enjoying your life and only 20% working versus spending 80% of your time working and only 20% of your time enjoying yourself. So as we continue to go on, I want you to follow. So communication is the next level, right? Communication is just under imagination. The person with the imagination that creates the idea still gets paid a lot, still has a lot of impact, but the person who communicates the idea also has a lot of impact and has a lot of income. And they also only spend 20% of their time working and 20% of their 80% of their time enjoying themselves. There's something called the 80-20 rule. 80% of the results are going to come from 20% of the effort. So you have to find in your life what is the 80% result that you want and what's the 20% effort that's going to get me the 80% result. A lot of times as new entrepreneurs, we're running around doing anything and everything. All right, anything and everything, and we're not realizing which thing is moving the needle or which thing is not moving the needle. We're just doing so much. If you're doing too much, somebody put in the chat, I'm doing too much. You must figure out the thing that is the 20% thing that's moving the needle forward. 80% doing the heavy lifting. If you have a team of 10 people, there's going to be two people that does the most lifting, and then the eight, they'll do some work, but not as much as the 20. If you notice, you go back in your life and look at this from your life. If you were ever in a group and you did a group project, how many of you actually were doing a group project thing? Right? How many of you actually were doing a group project and running it, or were you just constantly, kind of contributing a little bit here and there? Okay, maybe that's too far back. Let's bring it more current. What about the group chat that you're in? There's a group chat that you're in where most people do the talking and you just don't talk. You're part of that 80 where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna really talk a lot. And there is a group chat that you probably do the most talking in. So I want you to understand what I'm saying is happening in your life regardless. So communication level, cool. This is where you start to get paid the big bucks. But a lot of people don't like to communicate. See, there's two top fears. The number one fear is public speaking. The second fear is dying. The number one fear is public speaking. The second on that list is dying. So people are afraid to speak more than they are afraid to die. Some people, when they get ready to speak, they heart pound so much that they feel like they're about to die. Let me know if that's you in the chat. So as we continue to go, the next level below the communication level is the unification level. This is where you manage people. This level gets paid a little bit more than the implementation level, has a little more impact, but they still are bound by the clock. So this may be you. You may make $100,000. You may make six figures, but I promise you, when you make six figures doing a unification, you're a manager. I bet you they know that you know. that they own you. I bet you they make sure that you know that when you have your time off, right? You're still working on your days off. How many of us is dealing with that? You make around six figures. You might not take home six figures, but you make around six figures. But they make sure that they own you. Listen, I know it's your kid's birthday, but I need you to come in. Like, come on. So implementation by default, right, has been all of us. We have chosen this naturally to be the lowest level of value. This is not something I'm making up. It's not something Myron made up. This is not anything. This is literally facts. The person who created Uber, right? Where do they fall on the spectrum? If we can have 10 more minutes of your time. Oh, wait, it was almost 9:35. All right, when 9:35 hit, I need to know. So let's see if we can finish this out before 9:35. Place this person on the spectrum. The person who created the Uber, whoever created that, where are they at on the spectrum? Where are they at on the spectrum? Where are they at on the spectrum? Okay, good. So they at the top. So we understand that. We clearly understand the person who created Uber is actually not doing Uber. Just real quick, a quick consensus. Who makes more money? The person driving Uber or the person who makes Uber? Person who made Uber. Um, all right, Crystal, we're gonna get you out of here right now. Get you out of here right now. The idea this is for Crystal, and if because if anybody has to leave at 9:30, you can leave at 9:30. I don't want you to miss anything. But 9:35 is when I usually cut this off. Okay, so implementation, right, is the lowest level value is what we're doing right now, right? Where we're implementing an idea. The person who implements the idea is at the lowest level. You can have a skill set that's dope, that's great. Skills are necessary, but you need to understand other skills to move you up the ladder. So as you go through life, go through journey of your success journey, you want to be able to move up the ladder. You want to use all of four of these skills. These are also four ways to help people. So you can help somebody implement an idea. You can help somebody unify people to manage people to do an idea. You can communicate to somebody to manage somebody to do an idea, or you can just communicate the idea and you can create the idea. Those are four ways to help people. Okay? Those are four ways. So this is for Crystal so she can leave if she has to leave. If anybody has to leave, this is the clear cut thing. Anything else after that, I'm just giving you added value. Okay? So your job is to learn these skills. First of all, increase your imagination. Put your money goals in the chat. What type of money you want to make? Put your money goals in the chat. Put your money goal in the chat. Whatever your money goal, put a date by it or by when. So you say a month, you say a day. Just don't put 1 million because you probably already reached 1 million. I'm quite sure. If you're like 30, 40, you already reached $1 million in your lifetime earnings already. Pretty sure. So put something next to it. Okay, 100K a year. Cool. If 100K a year is your goal, I want you to now double it. Everybody double it. I need you to think higher. This is part of you growing your imagination. Higher. Grow your imagination higher. Okay? Your communication. You might not like speaking to people. You might be afraid to speak. Stop being afraid to speak and speak because that's where your money is at. That's where your money is at. Once you get good at speaking, you become so good at speaking, there's going to be times where you're not even going to have to speak and you get paid. But that's for a whole different breakdown. Okay. So right now, I want you all to see these different skills. These are also for stages of your entrepreneur career. If you're just starting out, if you just started out, put a one in the chat. If you're just starting out with your entrepreneur career, put a one in the chat. If you're just starting out, this is your roadmap for the next 4 years. This is not a 4 day journey. This is not a 4 month journey. You're not going to get rich overnight. It's going to take years before you get rich overnight. If you ever seen somebody become an overnight success, let you know they put some years in. So you see this person that's standing at the top and he created Uber. I'm quite sure there was other ideas. He just didn't wake up and create Uber and it was amazing in 3 months. That did not happen, okay? It happened over time. This is your 4 year roadmap. The first year is going to all be about implementation. All you're doing is everything that Joy is giving you, you're implementing it. That's your whole year. That's what your whole year is about. You're going to make $25,000 extra. Who would love to have an extra $25,000? The next year is all about unifying people to help you do the thing. So whether you're hiring help or you're teaching people about what you just learned, right? You did the results, you got the results for yourself. Either you're hiring people or you're teaching people. Okay. This is where you're gonna make an extra $50,000 a year. Who would like to make an extra 50,000? Okay. The next year is all about communicating. You need to start making advertisements. You need to get testimonials from everybody who implemented that, what you've been teaching them. And then, obviously the list goes on. You're gonna make 75. So your goal should be 75. This is how you make your goal more obtainable. You task chunk. Okay. We call it task chunking. You make it more obtainable. If you just say I want to get $100,000 per month, okay, cool, but you only make $5,000 per month, your mind is not even going to think that you're capable of doing it. Okay. Your mind is not even going to think that you're capable of doing it. So you have to make sure your mind can understand what you're going for so it can aid in that case and help you get there. So that's going to be your communication where you're going to get paid just because you are making advertisements. Hey, look, I got this ebook. Hey, look, I have this course. Hey, look, I can help you with this. Hey, you can fix that. And then now you're getting paid just from your commercials. Okay. And then lastly, you're going to get that 100K month or 100K year because you're now using your imagination where you put it all together. You're going to pull it all together. Okay. All together. Right. Cool. Um, And that's pretty much it. You're going to pull it all together using your imagination to communicate the idea. So you have to create an idea, you communicate the idea, you unify it for people to do it, to implement it, and get the job done. This is how you start to become the person that spends 20% of your time working. So the 20% of your time is now you just thinking about the ideas, okay? The 20% of the time is you thinking about the idea. And then now when you delegate all of this, they're doing the heavy lifting, and that takes up to 80%. Okay, if you look at the reverse, you see how if you have a job, if you have a job, it's just the reverse. You're just down here doing more implementation. So the person who's doing Uber is just doing the implementation. That's 80% of the time. And the person who created Uber is just only spending 20% of the time telling you to do it. They got the 80%. So you see how that flip? Okay, good, good stuff. Good job. Um, all right, cool. So this is going to be your roadmap. In fact, did y'all take a screenshot of that? Take a screenshot of that because we get ready to close out. Take a screenshot. Okay, good. I made some haters today. I made some haters today. That's good. Good stuff. If you don't have haters, then you ain't doing nothing right. Okay? Trust me. Trust me. All right, cool. Was that helpful for you in any way? Let me know in the chat. Was that helpful for you in any way? I want you to go into the Telegram and I want you to put your biggest takeaway in the Telegram. Okay? I told you, we're going to be honest here. We're going to be transparent. And being vulnerable is the way to put yourself in a position of power. Okay, so hopefully y'all did the homework this week. Hopefully you understand that your next level is loading. You are the best of the best, the top of the top, the cream of the crop. You are amazing. Don't let anybody stop your day. Fact check everything, even the things that I said, okay? I want you to come off of mute. I want you to snap it up. I want you to clap it up. I want you to make so much noise because your next level is loading. Team, let's send them a request to unmute themselves. Today is a good day for a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Go out there and be successful. No, Peace, peace. See y'all soon. Tonight, class tonight. Let's go. Yo, such I gonna call me. She might not call me. Nah, bro. I had to put somebody in their place today, mate. I had to put them in.